In 1988, I sat at my mother's bedside, bargaining with her to stay. Her final days unearthed buried memories, pain, and love. Here's what I learned about loss, forgiveness, and saying goodbye. My emotions are raw, like someone took a razor blade and carved up my insides. I try to keep up a stoic front around Mom, but inside I'm pleading, don't die, Mom. Please, please, you're only 65. I'm not ready yet. I've been reading on death and dying, which lists the 5 stages of dealing with death: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Okay, got it. My entire family is in some sort of denial. I may understand these stages, but I bargain with my mother anyway. Mom, why don't you come live with Henry and me in New York? Why would I live with you? Well, you'll study at the Art Student League. Oh, your apartment's too small. We'll move into a bigger apartment. My mother's a gifted painter, but she put her art on hold to accommodate my father's military career and care for her children. She started painting again once her kids were grown and out of the house. Mom, who's never broached the subject, asked, Jill, when are you going to have a baby? Um, I'm busy, Mom. I'm putting Henry through law school. You can't wait forever. You're 38 years old. 38's only 28 in actress years. You're not funny. I don't want you to miss out. My babies are my greatest joy. What can I say? I married a baby. I refuse to give up my art. You gave up painting. You gave up everything. Or how about I raised your babies? You were too busy drinking and having nervous breakdowns. So my maternal instincts have been completely extinguished. Thank you very much. One afternoon, a nurse that was tending to my mom asked, How many children do you have, Mrs. Dalton? My mother proudly announced, I have 5 children. I can't believe my mother admitted she had 5 children. She never acknowledged that. You see, my older brother Charles had the measles. The doctor gave him a shot of penicillin, and it killed him. He was 6, and this was 15 days after my 4th birthday. My mother found my brother dead on Easter Sunday. Our family didn't attend the funeral. The obit claimed the children were ill and unable to travel, which was a lie. My mother had a nervous breakdown. Now, I Googled nervous breakdown because we don't use that term anymore. And it said that a nervous breakdown is a colloquial term for a period of intense mental distress that makes it difficult to function in daily life. And it expresses itself as anxiety, depression, panic attacks, uncontrollable crying. Due to my mother's condition, she went to see a medical doctor who advised her, Now, why don't you have a little martini before dinner? It'll calm your nerves. My aunt told me Charles was buried in his new white linen Easter suit. After my brother Charles died, everything changed. I remember waking up in the morning to a house so still and quiet. Loss and death reverberated against the walls. Dad was at work, Mom was still in bed, and my chubby feet pattered across the hardwood floors to the kitchen, where I found the remains of my dad's breakfast. I licked the crumbs off his plate and drank the dregs of his coffee. I wasn't allowed to mention my brother's name because when I did, my mother dissolved into tears, fled to her bedroom, and when she closed her bedroom door, our house became dark and still. When she closed that bedroom door, she took all the joy, light, and air with her and left me to deal with the trauma and loss alone. And I took my mother's pain, mixed it with mine, and planted it deep inside where no one could find it. The pain was mine now, and I guarded it with my life. Whenever those feelings would rear their ugly head and try to escape, I'd stuff them back down and cover them with so much stuff, anything not to feel. I never mentioned his name again. Brother? What brother? I pretended he never existed. I pretended everything was fine. I kept my mouth shut and stuffed my feelings to protect my mother no matter what. I understood my role. I was now the oldest by default. My childhood was officially over. I'm a military kid, so I sucked it up and followed orders. Yes, sir. No, sir. Whatever you say, sir. Why is life so complicated? I sure hope Henry appreciates you putting him through law school. My mother's concern brings me back to the present moment. I'd sure hate for this to backfire on you. We're fine, Mom. You work so hard. Why don't you get one of those little TV shows? Like Lisa Gibbons, she's from South Carolina, and Vanna White is from Myrtle Beach. Yeah, terrific idea, Mom. Why didn't I think of that? I'll just get myself a little TV show. Thanks, Mom. I'll keep that in mind. Mom and I do visualization exercises. Mom, keep your eyes closed, no peeking. Now, imagine your white blood cells are marching toward the cancer cells. The white blood cells fight and annihilate the cancer cells. Jill, this is silly. I met with the hospice nurse who suggested I discuss dying with my mother. So I gathered my courage, and one afternoon, Mom, are you afraid to die? She recoiled and scrunched her eyes shut. I'm supposed to be comforting my mother. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm traumatizing her. God, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I don't have the heart or the skills to mention death again. At some point, Mom asked me, Gio, promise me you'll tend to my babies. I am my mother's nurse and protector. I'm the guard dog at the door. No one gets to my mother without going through me first. Every day, I study my macro books and Mom's chart. And when the annoying machine recording her vitals beeps, I reset it instead of bothering the nurses. So when a nurse informs me Mom needs a blood transfusion, I panic. The year is 1988. The AIDS epidemic is raging and young men are dying in droves. I'm hyper aware because I live in New York City, the epicenter. The Broadway community was decimated by this plague. My first thought was transfusion? No way. AIDS is transmitted by bodily fluids. What if the blood is tainted? I asked the nurse. I'm concerned. Is the blood tested for the AIDS virus? Sometimes at night, I lay in my hospital bed, staring out the window at the night sky, and remember the weeks my family spent each summer at the quaint house we rented on the ocean in Long Beach, North Carolina. We'd sit on the deck in the evenings, and Mom would point out the constellations. Big Dipper, Little Dipper, Milky Way, the Pleiades. Life felt magical and infinite. But even stars are born, live, and die. Once during a hurricane in Fort Polk, Louisiana, Dad wasn't home. He must have been trapped at work. The wind was howling like a locomotive as the rain pounded against the side of our house. Mom sat between Rick and me and read to us. I was safe and secure because of my mother. And because of this simple act of kindness, I love storms. If I'm asleep and a storm comes up, I'll wake up to listen and fall back into a peaceful sleep. My mother, who loved the beach, the sun, the ocean, the stars, shells, sand, and wind, is now cooped up in some sterile hospital room, looking like a captured praying mantis, undergoing scientific experiments, and she wants out. I'm out of here, my mother announced, sitting straight up in bed and pulling on her tubes. I'm done. I'm leaving. Mom, no, you can't. Mom, please wait, no. I try to reason with her, but she ignores me. I dash to the nurse's station. One of the nurses rushes back to the room with me and talks Mom down. Okay, good. Mom stops, settles back into the bed, turns to me, and with defiance, fine, but I want out of here by June 1. Understand? Some believe when we're ready to die, our loved ones who passed before us come from the other side to escort us home. I love this concept. I hope it's true. Mom's starting to travel between worlds. Why is that lady watching me? What lady? That little lady. She's peeking over the petunias with the reading glasses on. Another time, she blurted out, Gio, where's the baby? Who has the baby? Dad. Dad has the baby. That seemed to satisfy her. Once when my brother Rick came to visit, he sat on the bed next to her, and she asked him, Where's Ricky? I'm right here, Mom. Not you. Little Ricky. Where's little Ricky? One night, after I turned out the lights, Mom whispered, Gio, will you climb in the bed with me? She sounded so vulnerable, like a child afraid of the dark. I slid in beside her, careful not to disturb the multitude of tubes and wires she's connected to, and wrapped my right arm around her. Tears streamed down my cheeks. Thank you. I'm afraid to fall asleep for fear I'll disturb her or the machine she's hooked up to, but I dozed off because sometime during the night, the cheerful, booming voice of an orderly woke me. I'm here to weigh, Mrs. Dalton. Which one of you's the patient? Not me. Mom laughed. The orderly hoisted my mother up on a gigantic metal scale, similar to the one I used at the health food store to weigh my brown rice and beans. 87 pounds. This middle of the night weigh-in is disturbing. But I kept my mouth shut because I don't want to alarm my mother. This event never happened again. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And please like, subscribe, share if you haven't already. I feel so grateful and blessed to be in a community of such amazing people. And it means the world to me that you're here. And I'd like to give a special thanks to everyone who bought me a coffee or a super thanks. Cheryl V, 5K, Michael P, Sheila P, your support means the world to me. So have a wonderful week, you guys. I'll see you soon. It's freezing here. I hope it warms up soon. Stay warm out there. Stay safe. I love you guys. Ciao.